Welcome. In this deep dive, we are going to talk about something I think a lot of us do. You know, when your brain decides to hold a little court session in the middle of the night, replaying old arguments over and over and over again.
You know the scene, right? It's 3 in the morning, you are cozy, you are safe in bed, but your mind is just lit up. It's staging this full-blown replay of a conversation from months, maybe even years ago, and you're sitting there thinking of the perfect comeback, analyzing every single word. Why? Why do our brains do this to us?
Well, it turns out this isn't just some weird form of self-torture. Psychologists say your brain is actually trying to be productive here. It's attempting to do what they call emotional work. It's trying to solve an emotional puzzle that, for whatever reason, it feels was left totally unfinished. So, let's get into the first big reason for this late-night obsession. It really all comes down to a fascinating, and maybe a little frustrating, cognitive pattern.
The big word here is rumination, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Your mind gets stuck in this repetitive loop, just replaying an unresolved situation. But the why is what's really interesting. It's not trying to punish you. It's driven by this deep, deep need to just make sense of things.
So your brain isn't replaying that argument because it, enjoys the stress. Not at all. Instead, it's acting like a detective, meticulously going over the scene of the crime, searching for that one missed detail, that one clue that would finally make it all click.
And that's the real trap of rumination, isn't it? It creates this powerful illusion that you're actually doing something, that you're solving the problem. The event is long gone, it's in the past, but this mental loop, it gives you this false but kind of comforting sense that you're making progress.
And that leads us right into the second reason, our brain's absolute obsession with control. See, your mind is basically a prediction machine. It's always trying to figure out what comes next. And it thinks that if it can just solve what went wrong back then, it can keep you safer and way more prepared for the future.
Now, to really see how this whole need for control thing drives overthinking, let's just look at a quick case study. It'll make a lot of sense.
So this is Alex. About 3 months ago, Alex had a really minor disagreement with a coworker about some project deadline. It wasn't a big deal, no yelling, just a simple conflict. But for Alex's brain, it's far from over.
Okay, so look at this. The reality of the situation. It was simple, a tiny disagreement. But inside Alex's mind, a whole different movie is playing. It's this super complex simulation. Alex is zooming in on the coworker's tone, their body language, just desperately searching for some hidden meaning or secret intent.
And here is the absolute key to understanding this. For a brain like Alex's, the real enemy isn't the disagreement. No, it's the uncertainty. That feeling of not knowing if the coworker was genuinely upset or maybe just tired, that feels way more threatening than the actual conflict ever did.
All right, on to our third reason, and this one might really hit home for some of you. It's the idea of having a high-resolution mind. If you're someone with heightened sensory processing, you just naturally absorb more data from the world. You notice the tiniest shifts in someone's tone, the subtle body language that most people miss. And what that means is your brain has way more information to sift through and analyze long after the conversation is over.
So why does all this heavy processing seem to kick into overdrive at night? It's like our brain clocks in for what we can call the night shift. Let's talk about that.
So first off, during this night shift, a fear of being misunderstood just loves to come out and play. You start replaying the fight, asking yourself, was I too harsh? Or wait, was I too nice? And that's that classic spiral, where you're just hoping that more thinking will somehow bring you clarity, when really it just digs you deeper into doubting your own decisions.
Another huge factor is how you deal with conflict right in the moment. If you're the kind of person who tends to go quiet when you're hurt, then during the day, that silence is like your shield. It's your self-protection. But all that emotion you push down, it has to go somewhere. So, when the world finally gets quiet at night, your brain feels safe enough to let its guard down. And that's when it starts to unpack all the pain and try to make sense of the hurt that you held in all day.
Okay, so after hearing all of this, you might be thinking, wow, this sounds exhausting. Or maybe even, great, my brain is broken. But I really want us to flip that perspective completely. This isn't about a flaw, it's about a hidden strength. I want you to let this one really sink in. This whole mental habit, it is not a weakness. It is a powerful, maybe a little clumsy, sign that you have a mind that is working around the clock to try and protect you. You're just wired to look deeper into the why of how people tick.
So how can you actually find peace with this? Well, here's a path forward. Step 1, just understand the why. Acknowledge that your brain is seeking resolution and safety, not trying to punish you.
Step 2, see it for what it is, a protective instinct, not some personal flaw. Maybe even thank it for trying to keep you safe. And finally, step 3, actively reframe it. That voice you hear isn't an inner critic. It's more like your dedicated inner analyst, working to help you build healthier boundaries for next time.
So the biggest takeaway here is this. Your deeply analytical, sometimes overactive mind, it's not a bug in your system. It's a feature. It actually allows you to see the world with incredible depth and nuance. The only question left is, how are you going to choose to use that powerful feature?
If you want to dive deeper into the hidden psychology of why we do what we do, make sure to subscribe. Once you understand the why behind your behavior, you can finally start choosing how you want to live.